What's happening, everyone? Welcome to the Liga podcast. Before this show starts, I just want to take a minute and tell you all about the secret perks you get if you sign up on Patreon. Now, to sign up on Patreon, it is £1 a week, that's it. And by doing so, you get early access to all our guests. You get an extra episode on a Wednesday that is only available just for Patreon members only. On a Saturday, we do a betting show where we've landed some pretty big bets, to be fair.
Yeah, cross footy and boxing and MMA.
We do live events, quizzes, you get early access to all them, and anything else we've got going on, it all comes to you first for those who support on Patreon. No better time to sign up. We've got about 100 episodes maybe of Patreon episodes, which are hilarious, if I do say so myself. All there available for you now. Get signed up. It's £1 a week, and we'll see you over there. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to the Sportscast. It's me, Andy Grant.
It's me, Jordan Neal.
Hope you all have a boss weekend. For those who aren't watching on YouTube, Jordan has just quickly got rid of his McDonald's.
I'm having a bad day today.
For anyone who's on Patreon, Joe told us all he's on a diet, and then he's just turned up with a Mackey's.
He said, "What's your New Year's resolution?" I said, "Don't be a fat cunt." So I just had a little Mackey's.
I
can't. I'm not the skinny life's not for me, lad.
Well, yeah. Welcome to the sport. We can say what. Welcome. Just get it out, lad. Get the Mackey's out. Welcome to the Sportscast, everyone. What I will say first off to kind of throw the cat amongst the pigeons is we have a Patreon show, as you know. If you want to get involved in that, it's £1 a week. You get a show on a Wednesday, early access, yada, yada, yada. But on this week's Patreon, as we do, we just got off on a random tangent. And you mentioned about your little boy who is now wearing different football kits. He's at that age, etc. And he asked for an Everton kit and arguably said he might want to support Everton. And I half joked, half serious that you can't have him support Everton. And my belief was he'd grow up unhappy. And it was half kind of joking, but half serious. No, it is. It's funny, isn't it? That's the half joke. But it's half serious in the sense that the point I made was I've got loads of mates who are Blues who just miss out on so many good little weekends away and days out. And Rob come back at me. And I like Rob. He's a great supporter of the podcast. Great guy. He come back at me and was like, I've made loads of bonds with my son, at Everton and all that. No doubt you have, Rob. No doubt you have made loads of great memories at Goodison while you're booing the team off the pitch. No doubt you have. I've made loads of great memories with my mates in Madrid, in Barcelona, in Milan, in Wembley.
Yeah, but you're one of them now going, I'm not going to the game anymore because we're not good anymore.
Lad, I've been every game this season.
You said to me the other week, off camera, by the way, I'm losing my head with it.
Yeah, I'm losing my head with it, yeah. I'm still fucking paying 60, well, 50,
when
42
we're in Europa
quid every
League,
week.
you'll be going to like Bate Bar or something.
I can't wait for to go to all those places, lad.
God's a chance.
Lad, I went to 4 European aways last year.
In the Champions League when we were able to win
it. Yeah, lad, how many times have I said the game gets in the way of it?
So we got Russia.
100%.
You'll go?
100%.
No way. Not a
the
chance.
Game, the 90 minutes gets in the way of the trip with the lads. Which comes back to the point I was saying to Rob. And I am half taking the piss, Rob, but it's bordering child cruelty.
It's not, lad.
It is, lad.
I think forcing
you make great memories with your children at football, no matter where you go. I get that, yeah. But why then, if Rob's right saying he's made great memories with his kids going the game, which he obviously has, why does so many Blues in the teens and 20s and 30s are like fucking devastated and depressed?
Yeah, it's a heavy team to support, like. But I just see that with RJ.
So there you go. So why would you want that for your son?
I don't think football's the most like celebrated sport in the world. I don't think it's.
But if you can support a team that arguably will take you around Europe most seasons, that's got to be the team to support.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. How many people go round Europe per year? How many people that support that team?
Well, if
I haven't been.
Yeah, but you don't go to the game though. Rob's hardcore.
Yeah,
Rob goes to the game. You don't really, lad.
Why don't I? Because I don't sit next to you in the car.
No, but you don't go every week though. Do you know what I mean?
Most.
No, you don't, lad.
I don't go away games now. But I have a ticket for every home match now. Every single one.
Okay, well, this is new information to me. Up until that information, you probably go 4 or 5 games a season.
No, more than that. But
anyway, Rob goes every weekend. Anyway, it was just an half taking the piss, half being serious. Rob, I will pay for counselling sessions for your son as he's older when he's depressed.
But you are a bitter man.
Arguably, yeah.
You are.
But you know where my bitterness comes from? Is seeing their bitterness. Which sounds so fucking wrong, but...
It is wrong.
I just have visions of Peter Reid and Tony Bellew having a party with him when we've just been beat by Real Madrid. That then fires my bitterness up. Do you know what I mean?
So you think it started that side of the park?
Yeah. But that's something that someone bitter would say, isn't it? So I can't.
Yeah, that is something that's wrong.
Anyway, now that I've cleared that up.
You changed your mind on Piers Morgan though. You said you don't mind him.
I had a proper belter debate with my friend last night actually. So here's my thing, right? And this is going off sport a little bit, but
yeah, he's involved in it though. He's Ronaldo's mate, isn't he?
No, what I don't like about social media, right, is I actually like Piers Morgan, by the way.
Can't stand him.
I actually like him. But when I say I like him, I've liked some of the things he's said. He said other things that are complete fucking bollocks. And the thing I find fascinating with social media is we live in a world now where everything that we say, every opinion we've got, most of the time, they go online. Now, everything's stored, everything's there. And the problem is, at what point do you say something where it's just like, oh, that's it, don't like him no more? So the point being, you've got a lot of controversial figures at the moment. For example, Jeremy Clarkson. Now, I've met Jeremy a few times, really nice fella. I've been down to the Top Gear studio loads. I've met him and all the gang there. They've done loads for injured soldiers. Nice guy. And he's provided us with fucking years and years of boss TV, in my opinion, Top Gear, etc. You come out the other week and said something really fucking homophobic, sorry.
Said about Meghan Markle.
Yeah, said about Meghan Markle.
It
was just fucking horrible what he said about it. So everyone's like, right, that's it, not watching Jeremy Clarkson no more. Which I kind of get. But it's like, at what point do you say something bad and then everything else you say or have ever done is bullshit? The Andrew Tate stuff, we've mentioned this before on the Patreon. He is, whether you like it or not, has to be respected in one aspect of his life, in the sense that he's a successful business guy and he's was a world champion kickboxer. He also
46.
He also turns out to be a fucking dick, and he's done some fucked up things, and if he ends up getting charged with what he's done, then yeah, he's a dick. My point is, though, you can go through everyone, Piers Morgan included, that say things which you don't agree with, but they also say things that you do agree with, and it's this fine line of then kind of banishing them, going, oh well, I'm never listening to him ever again.
But if someone says, you can agree with something someone says and still think they're an idiot.
Of course, yeah.
But like, and it's
but
like,
I actually didn't think Piers Morgan was I
honestly,
he's an antagonist.
To me, he's just a next Tuesday and always will be. But it's like, I get what you're saying in terms of, you know, just because they do one thing doesn't mean everything's bad. But you could say that, like, you could say about murderers. Oh, we only did one bad thing. No, well, murderers, the rest of this stuff.
Murderers taking it because you've actually murdered someone. I mean, these are just things people have said.
But like, I just mean the Jeremy Clarkson thing. That's a dark and horrible thing to say.
Yeah, I know it is.
So he, in my opinion, everything good that he's done deservedly gets forgotten about. Because, like, you can't say stuff like that. You can't just get a free pass because you've done a few good things in the past. So
because he said that bad comment, those 4 or 5 bad lines of Meghan Markle, you think that's him now done?
I didn't like him beforehand, but I just personally don't like him even more. But it's like, if he either said, I don't like Meghan Markle, she's an idiot. Sound, that's no worry. Bit of a controversial or pushy opinion, but no problem. It's when you go to the depths of what these people say.
Listen, I'm not defending him. I'm not defending anyone, any of these fucking Tate, Morgan.
And it's like, just to take it back to sport, it's like, it is exactly like Dana White. Just because he sat up on a interview this week and went, what repercussion am I gonna face? I've got to walk around and live with this for the rest of my life. That's not a consequence of what you've done. Because it's like, I've got to be known as this for the rest of my life. That's what I've got to deal with. That's the consequence of what I've done. But like, I actually were saying online, all right, well, you stopped me fighting because I smoked weed. Why didn't you let me fight and just call me a weed smoker?
And listen, everyone's got that 100%. I've got the right and that opinion now to come back at him and say double standards. I get that. My point being is more of a, not so much a kind of a personal one against these individuals we've mentioned. It's just a kind of I just think it's a debate that needs to happen, in the sense about what points. I mean, you're clearly on one side of the fence where you're like, well, that's it then, the fucking dead to me type thing, where I'm a bit more like, yeah, he's fucked up, but if everyone went through, if you were in the in the public eye, and every single, you know, sentence that comes out your mouth is scrutinised, you would fuck up a lot. I 100% agree. We all mess up day to day, but there's a difference between messing up and doing something that's inherently wrong. Okay, then, so in your eyes, Dana White, what happens to him now then? If you could have your kind of way on, what would his punishment be? He'd be removed from his position. So to kind of just be devil's advocate at the moment, he has arguably single-handedly, which you've kind of backed for a while, said like it's the most exciting, biggest sport, fastest growing. What he's done to mixed martial arts under the UFC banner, from a business acumen point of view, what he's done, the money he's made other people, what he's took it to all around the world, the fucking brand he's done, right? For a 10-second drunken moment of madness, no matter how bad it is, that should all be forgotten about.
Not forgotten about, but the consequence should be you have taken everything you've built and thrown it away by being I don't want to say the word, but by doing that to your wife, because you don't just get to, because you've got ability, talent, work ethic, all these things, because he's a fantastic businessman. Just because you are that does not mean that you get a free pass for doing something that's wrong. Because if I done it, or someone in the street hit their missus or their fella, they would get repercussion.
Okay, but you work for yourself then. So
the only difference between me and him is that he is rich and famous.
Okay, but you work for yourself, so you happen to smack your missus, right?
Yeah, I could smack right back and drop probably.
Yeah. So what you do, your business that you've started, what you do, walk away from that?
I would expect people to lose respect, and well, yeah. If I had
employees,
that's
not losing respect.
If I had employees and I'd done that in front of them, then I would 100% expect.
No,
to
let's
lose
just say you and your missus are out. You slap your missus after she slaps you.
Yeah.
So you're the boss of a few lads. You just say, right lads, I'm sorry, I can't do this no more.
That's not the same.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not, because he's the boss of a huge in the public eye business. But I would 100%, if I behaved like that, which I'm not capable of, I would 100% expect to lose if I held a important position. 100%.
So you'd walk away from the job you've got now?
No, I wouldn't walk away, but I'd be taken out, clearly. That's why he's never going to walk away.
Okay, but if
you're expecting him to have morals, he just whacked his missus.
But I'm saying, George, it's
not about walking away, it's about being removed.
So you just remove yourself from your thing that you've got going on?
No, because that's removing yourself. He's never going to walk away. No person's going to do that. But you should have to answer to something. And he, as much as we see him as, he is not the be-all and end-all of the UFC. There's people around him and above him who are in charge. And
But he is the face of it.
He's the face of it, but he's not the boss of it when it's all said and done. He's the boss in the public eye. But Endeavour and people like that, it's like me owning a business and then, say, a director of mine, someone I've employed to be a director doing something like that. As a decision maker, you should have enough about it to say you are no longer in that position.
No, but I'm just saying you aren't in a similar position to Dana White, in the sense that you've got people working for you, right? Now, none of them can say to you, George, because of what you've done, we think you should step down. So it's on you yourself.
Yeah, but
so
if there's someone above you, they can. No one in the world's going to go, well, probably decent people would go, I'm going to move away and like that, I need to work on this before that. But he answers to people. That's the argument that every single person is now having now that.
Okay, and the people he's answering to, I would hazard a guess.
ESPN, Disney, Endeavour, they're all silent.
I would guess that the people who have got the power to kind of say no to him are probably looking at him and going, what I've just said. For 20 years, you've built this up from nothing to where it is now. He's probably a good guy in most aspects of his life. He's had a 10-second drunken fuck up, which we've all done. He's apologised for it. No, obviously I've never fucking hit a woman in my life, but we've all fucked up drunk.
It's a seriously dangerous precedent.
I've had fights when I've been drunk that I shouldn't have had. So not with obviously women, with men. My point I'm saying is, they're probably looking at him thinking, yeah, you've fucked up. I've lost respect for you on a personal level. Don't look at you in the same light. However, on the bigger scale, you've had a 10-second moment of madness. You've owned it. You've apologised for it. You are the best man for the job. You're going to have to live with this. What else can they do?
All right, what happens then if they're running what we would call a multi-million-dollar business? What happens when one of the fighters, inevitably, because it happens, and it happens more and more in that industry, they beat up their wife? What do Endeavour, Disney, ESPN, Dana White, what do they do?
Again, I don't know. I'm just trying to be devil's advocate in the sense that...
It's not about being devil's advocate, though.
It is, because it's giving you two sides of the coin.
No, but the other side of the coin makes no sense, because you're making a rod for your own back. If you don't,
of course he is,
if you don't act now...
Listen, George, all those directors have already had these conversations, and no doubt, in the back rooms, and thinking, fucking hell, Dana, what are we going to do now if this happens again? How are we going to deal with it? 100% those conversations have had, and that's a problem that Dana has caused himself and has now got to own it. The point I'm getting to, though, is again, it's a bit of a wider subject I'm kind of trying to get my point across on, is if you take everything away from someone because of a 10-second drunken fuck up, like, no one would do anything. Then? No one would do anything.
Why do we have prisons?
Okay, so you're going to lock everyone up who fucks up when they're drunk?
Your point is, if you do something wrong, it shouldn't eliminate everything you've done good in your life. So then why do people go to prison who don't have no criminal record? You have to have consequence to actions.
I just think people, it's like living in glass houses, you know what I mean? You've got to be careful throwing stones.
100%. We all mess up in our life. Every one of us. I make mistakes every single day. Say things I don't mean, fall out with people. Do that every day in my life. But I don't hit women.
No, and again, I'm not defending him in any way.
No, I know you're not defending his crime, but I'm saying there's certain things that you can do.
I just don't know what like...
That should.
I just don't know what people expect to happen. To be honest, that's my point on it. Like, he's come out, he's owned it, he's apologised. He said his wife's apologised. He's more asked about what his kids think of him. He knows he's got to carry that on his back for the rest of his life. He's a scumbag for what he's done. He's hit a woman. It's not good. Whether he's pissed or not, you never hit a woman. I said it last time. A woman can hit you 10 times. You don't hit her back. My point is, though, what do people want him to do? What do you want him to fucking do?
You want him to face repercussions.
But what repercussions can he face? He's got to sit down. His son's got to look at him for the rest of his life and go, "You hit me, mum." Fuck me, that'll hurt more than not being part of the UFC.
But he's set. So basically, he's walked in and gone, my sort of, what would you call it? My punishment for doing what I've done is that I've got to have difficult conversations with my kids. That's what. So he's. But
I arguably think that is the biggest punishment he could have.
That he's set the punishment. So that's so when you sit there right now, that's the precedent you set. No matter what you do, if it hurts your personal life, then everything else that could come your way.
Okay, then. So what is it then? Is it a monetary value? You think you should get fined or something?
No, that's not going. It doesn't change anything. They know.
So what is it I'm saying? So what do you want him to do then?
He should not be the face of the UFC anymore.
For how long?
For good. Because he's now promoting. He's on Instagram promoting slap league.
So what about the boxer? What's his name? Gervonta
Davis. So if he gets found guilty, same with drug cheat. Exactly.
What about Mayweather?
I've always stood on that. What's happened with Mayweather?
He constantly battering women throughout his career.
He had millions and millions of court cases, so we could get all them out and go through that if you want to. But what I'm saying is, if you commit them level of crimes,
but he's been done. Mayweather's been done for domestic fucking violence
all the way through his career.
Whether it's all the way or once, it's the same thing, isn't it?
So what? So all right. Well, if I don't know
that's the point.
I don't know whether Mayweather has been found guilty of beating his girlfriend up. I don't know that information. But if he has, then yeah, he shouldn't have carried on at the level he was. You can't just allow people in society. We sit on our Patreon show, especially. I'm sorry if we've gone off on a tangent here. We sit on there going, "Oh, we hate the government because they can operate on this level and nothing happens to them. We've all got to play by the rules, nothing happens to them." But then when it comes to sport, it's like, oh, well, he's done good, hasn't he?
I'm not.
So imagine Rishi Sunak went, all right, I've heaped all this misery on people, but what about the good stuff I've done? Oh, so you're just gonna kick me out of office because of that?
My point is, George, if you've done that, where'd you stop? And the point is, with this,
when people stop committing crimes.
It's fucking hell, lad, in this utopia world that we're going to live in then.
If someone trespasses on someone's garden, yet there's levels to criminality, there's levels to...
My point is, though, back to Dana, though, so go on then. What, he's come out in his press conference and said this week, he come out and said, no one try and defend me. And I don't, people have tried to, and we
the people that he allows in that room.
We certainly haven't tried to defend him, we've slated him for it. But he's come out and said, if you want me to take 60 days off, the only people will suffer will be the fighters and the shows, etc.
The UFC would continue to move without Dana White.
It would, yeah, but to what you don't know, to what kind of body, if you like. So my question to you is, and to anyone who doesn't maybe agree with what I'm saying, is yeah, he's done something fucking horrendous that should never be done again. Yeah, he's apologised, and an apology could arguably never be good enough. But what do you expect? Yeah, the debate I had, and it was a similar debate I had last night. Completely, yeah, you can almost link all three of them, right? So you've got Dana White slaps his wife. You've got Jeremy Clarkson, who says about, stoning Meghan Markle naked in the street. And you've got Kevin Hart from 10 years ago saying, I wish my son wouldn't be gay, right? One's an actual act of physical violence. Mm-hmm. Jeremy Clarkson's arguably inciting it to women. And Kevin Hart's arguably inciting, negative things on the gay community.
Yeah.
Right. So all 3 of them have committed some sort of crime.
And only one faced repercussion.
Well, 10 years later,
he got stopped from hosting.
He got stopped from hosting the Grammys.
Which biggest opportunity in his career.
Jeremy Clarkson had to come out, and I think all the paper did apologise for it.
Kelvin McKenzie was on things saying he hasn't done anything wrong.
So my point is though, is people do things. It's like at what point do you then say, right, you can never do anything ever again?
No, if Dana White,
they're all inciting certain things, whether it's physical or inciting abuse or whatever, or it's throwaway comments.
But Kevin Hart is a perfect example. He had the biggest opportunity of his entire career.
It hasn't stopped him though from doing it, has it?
I'm not saying.
He's probably benefited more because he come out and he said, "I'm not apologising no more."
I'm not saying removing Dana White would stop him from being active in combat sports. He could go and promote slap league or Zuffer boxing like he was talking about years ago. But what I'm saying is, if you hold a certain position, we have to see consequence.
I 100% agree, but I'm saying...
And consequence is not, I've got to have a difficult conversation with my son.
So go on then, what are they then?
Removal of his position.
I think that's too
harsh. Go with Kevin Hart, for example. Kevin Hart there, whatever's happened in his career post that, I don't know, but at that point he went, I'm hosting the Grammys, this is the biggest moment of my career. He was on record saying, this is the biggest moment of my entire career. He did something, whether we agree with it, digging back old tweets or whatever, whether we agree or disagree with that, they said, you've done this thing, you will be removed from that. Okay? You won't be hosting that. And that is that case closed. You can go and continue to rebuild your career. Because at the end of the day, Kevin Hart didn't do nothing that was at that time was criminal. He wrote something stupid like we all have. Dana White has done something physical, has physically assaulted somebody, and has set his own consequence. He said, I'm sitting here now with the people I choose to have in this room, who I know won't report anything that bad on me, and I'm not going to walk away. I've had these conversations, nothing's going to happen, but I've got to look my son in the eye. Do you know what? And I appease them. That would be the worst thing in my life if I had to do that. I couldn't think of anything worse than my kids looking at me like a scumbag. And that's fine. But you cannot be the main promoter of the biggest combat promotion in the entire world and then do things like that in public.
Why is Kevin Hart allowed to be the biggest movies in the world then now?
Because he got taken away from that role and then he's rebuilt his career. That's testament to Kevin Hart.
Listen, I get your point. I just think it's
not, mate,
there needs to be repercussions, yeah. But like, if he's fucking built this up, arguably himself, he's had people around him, yeah, and then now, because of pressure from people saying, well, you need to have repercussions and you lose everything because of a 10-second moment of madness.
Dana White is still one of the biggest personalities, biggest names in combat sports, but you can't hold a role. So basically now what we've said is, you sit at the top of the tree and you've committed, you've done something that you're going to struggle to do anything worse than that. No matter what you do now, it's cool. You just let us know when you want to walk away.
No,
again, that's not a dangerous precedent to set.
No, I just think it's the reality of the situation he's in. Whether they make him give money to a domestic violence thing, or they make him do something, I just don't agree. Where I'm losing absolutely, or having to like
step away from a role.
I just don't think it does anyone any favours.
I think that would do people more favours than what's happening now. So basically, what happens now is, look, everybody, it's Strickland versus Imavov. Please forget about this. Got a pay-per-view event next week. Keep moving.
People who we like and respect have fucking conveniently not spoken about it anyway. So it's not as if like,
yeah, but they're terrified of losing the jobs. That's the power that he has. And it's like when we were talking, you know, we're going just to add another sports example. If you would have had this argument with Conor Benn, it would have been like, oh, but you know, he took it 3 months ago. What are we going to do?
Here's one for you then. And I'm not by any stretch of the imagination comparing domestic violence to animal cruelty. Both are fucking horrible things. But Zuma,
yeah.
Okay, so he's fucked up. He got fined, yeah. But he's still allowed to fucking play.
We were on here though saying, what the hell?
Yeah, but again, it's like he shouldn't lose everything.
He should have been removed from the West Ham team though. Of course he should have.
For everything, for good, that's it. Don't play footy ever again.
No, because but this is, in my opinion, this is where I think you're confusing what I'm saying. I'm not saying you can no longer be a professional footballer, but you've got a lucrative contract at one of the. And
he got fined by £500,000
in one of the Premier League. Mate, £500,000 is a drop in the ocean. It's like charging Dana White 30 grand. Not going to do anything. He wouldn't have even known when that money left his account.
Yeah, but that's not his fault. That's because he's worked hard and built a massive business that's super successful.
Yeah, so
it's like going.
So we're basically saying that the harsh...
We'll put a percentage on his fucking annual wage or something.
Yeah, well, that would have been better than what he done. But in my opinion, West Ham should have said he no longer plays for us. If he wants to go out, reform himself, show proof, and then gets re-signed to someone else. In the same way, if Dana White got removed from the UFC, built something up new, started to do active things around domestic violence, and show people, look, yeah, I got removed from a position, but that doesn't mean he's cancelled from the entire industry. It just means you've got to get removed from a position of power, because the precedent it sets is slap your wife, nothing happens.
I don't think it does.
It does, because what's the first offence and UFC or MMA fighters going to use if they get charged with domestic violence?
No doubt.
What is the first thing that comes out the mouth?
And that's the rod that he's created for his own back.
He didn't create it, mate. The people above him did, who didn't have the bollocks to make a decision.
So there you go. That's our views on Dana.
But good debate. I like it.
I am just being devil's advocate, trying to see it from both sides, because again, I just think it's fucking impossible to have the one right way to go about it.
I think we'll have a proper debate on Patreon where it probably lands. But I think, for example, if you turned round and then just went, I don't know, if you turned round and went, oh George, you fucking do me head in and pushed me, go, come on, a bit out of order, that, don't do it again. If we were sitting here and went, George, you fucking do me head in, bang, and lamp me,
yeah,
maybe you shouldn't be doing a podcast anymore. Do you know what I mean? There's different levels to what you commit and what you do. That's me point.
Yeah, but even that's making me get riled up again. So if I'd done that, which obviously never would, so you don't think I'm ever allowed to
but I think,
a podcast again?
I think no, but you're in a position now of you should be taken away from this position. You should face repercussion of you had a privileged position that you built up yourself, which you did, but you can't just do things and keep that.
I don't know.
But and then if you, for example, if then you went away and said, right, shouldn't have done that, apologise, George, I'm going to go to anger management lessons, 6 months down the line, got a new podcast, started doing great things again.
I don't think you need to start a whole new podcast, all that again. No, that's what I disagree with.
You have to make there has to be repercussions.
Yeah, I agree, but it doesn't mean fucking walking away from everything and that's it. Anyway, Dana White done. Moving on.
I'd be liking to see people's opinions.
Talk about footy.
He's carrying on with Slap League, by the way, which is mad.
I've seen that, yeah.
I reckon we could stay on. We're on MMA, might as well start.
Stay on MMA. Go on and stay on MMA.
Jake Paul's in.
Yeah, IPL is it?
PFL. What Brendan Loughnane won £1 million doing. And they're about to sign Francis Ngannou, apparently.
I think fair play to him.
But he's not doing anything. He's fighting Super Pay-Per-View League.
What's wrong? Yeah, but he's at least fighting proper fighters now, isn't he?
No.
Is he not?
So he's made his own division, essentially.
Oh, wow.
Super Pay-Per-View League, where he basically he now owns a part or something, some equity or whatever in PFL, which is probably going to become the second biggest promotion in the world, in this side of the world. So he's now created the Super Fight Series, which he announced his first opponent to be Nate Diaz.
I've seen
that. Boxing fight, then MMA fight 6 months later. And he's also in an advisory role of head of fighter advocacy, which is about payment and all this stuff,
medical stuff and all that.
Yeah, which is good. But there'll be two super fight shows where he will invite someone in. He will not be fighting the PFL roster, put it that way. He'll be inviting someone in to have a
spar, basically.
Yeah. So do you know, Paul Smith, the comedian, I'm not saying he's going to get the call, but he's going into fighting MMA for charity, isn't he? Against another guy who is, I think he's done MMA like Paul has, but he's learning on the job or whatever. But I think Jake Paul will basically do what he's doing in boxing, but in MMA. So it could be a NFL player, it could be a former boxer who's now learned MMA in just in complete other way that he's doing. So
not a real two.
No, he's not fighting in the light or the heavyweight.
To be devil's advocate again and go a kind of, give you something else to think
about. On the roll today, aren't you?
What is he doing different than the likes of an Eddie Hearn who's got a prospect coming through? Because let's face it, most boxers get a free hit until they're kind of 10-0.
Yeah.
So what is he doing different than what Eddie Hearn would do to a young Anthony Joshua?
What do you mean, who's he fighting any different?
Yeah. He's not doing anything different, really. He's picking people who he knows he'll fucking either bang out or it's got some sort of sniping to go at, can build a fight. It's fucking Joshua's career. That's how every boxer's who's got a prospect starts, really, isn't it?
I think the difference is, for example, if we had a prospect here, we would, for 10-0, they would fight on undercards.
Like Joshua was fighting on big cards when he was fucking blowing people out.
Yeah, but Joshua was still on undercards. He wasn't walking around with a new belt. Wasn't charging $89.99.
No, but he was in Wembley. Fucking.
Yeah. If Jake Paul's come out and made this thing, look, I'm super famous. I'm going to send out the arena. But look, I want to get to the top of boxing. My way to do it is probably 10 fights. I'm going to have to fight these guys who, you know, I'm going to probably beat. But you know, it'll be fun while we get there. And then I'm going to fight. I'm going to go for this belt, going to go for that belt, blah, blah, blah. I think I would be in. I'd say, sound, that's cool. What he's doing though is, I've just knocked out Ben Askren, Canelo, you're next.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with that, obviously.
So, it's a promotion thing. They're promoting it as World Championship Boxing. Eddie Ince promoting this as a prospect.
And I'm not into this Logan Paul whatsoever, by the way, or Jake, whatever it is. I was just kind of saying, I can kind of see where... If you know what I mean, where he's picking them, it's similar to the way Eddie does.
If he come in and went, I want to try and win a boxing world title, I'm going to go through the levels like everybody else does, I think he'd get mad respect. Yeah. But coming out and doing, I'm fighting...
when I seen the headline of that, what's it called? Fucking PFL. I thought, he's going to be going for like £1 million fight against some absolute ninjas.
No.
So he's not. That's a shame.
In the Super Fight League. Yeah, he'd die, lad.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I thought. Mad respect to him. I was thinking fair play. That Brendan Lockhart, whatever his fucking nails. Loughnane, I thought, great. He's going to fight someone, nails.
There was a clip of him come out, because apparently he was a decent wrestler back in his high school days, whatever, and there was a clip come out of him at some sort of like MMA open mat roll, and he was just getting submitted constantly.
Oh, really?
But he was younger then. Like, he's a game kid, like, you can't take that away from him. But yeah, he's just, it's a super fight series, so he won't be fighting anyone of...
That's a shame. That's fucking not what I thought.
Yeah, but there's obviously UFC London's coming up. They announced Lerone Murphy versus Nathaniel Wood, 2 Brits fighting a featherweight. Did you see their Instagram back and forth?
Oh.
So Nathaniel Wood messaged Lerone Murphy just saying, my manager's just been offered you, do you want to just do it and have a beer after? And then Lerone Murphy's like, yeah, let's do it, let's smash it. So them two, and that is a crazy good
So they're
fight.
Like mates, are they?
Well, they know each other, like, you know,
acquaintances almost, yeah.
But two, that is a honour. If one of them or both of them don't walk away with a bonus, like, I'd be surprised. Lerone's the guy who... I've actually reached out to get him on a podcast, but I don't think he's really the media type of guy, but he's only got shot in the face and spat the bullets out.
Fucking hell. 50 Cent style.
When he was like 21, and then obviously learnt MMA, got to the UFC, he's been inactive for a bit. Nathaniel Woods was saying he came through Cage Warriors and never got shot in the face, like, but had a couple of ups and downs in the UFC, but now on a tear, so that's a crazy good fight, lad. But I don't know what's going to happen with the main event, because Usman's still in a cast, isn't he?
Is he? Yeah.
Well, he done an appearance in Africa and he still had a bandage on, but there's no announcement, which is...
Will Edwards fight someone else, you reckon?
Yeah, maybe. Masvidal, maybe. I mean, getting Masvidal over here would be quite fun, to be fair, but...
Yeah.
It's, one of them.
Should we stay in the boxing? Boxing going on?
Well, it's quiet, isn't it? Obviously, Gervonta Davis, we touched on him there, had a decent win, stopped his opponent from being able to see, which is terrifyingly powerful. He's punched him that much, and you know, he's like...
His eyes just went swollen?
He said, no, they weren't even swollen. He just said, I can't see.
Oh, it's scary, that, mate.
Just hit me on the side of the head, and I can't. But for everything, Gervonta Davis is in the ring. Obviously, he's got his problems out of it, but he's incredible talent in it. And if he gets through this, he's got a court case next week or next month, and all week, if whatever happens in there, but they're going to do the Ryan Garcia fight, which is a mega fight, absolute mega fight. Doesn't probably be one of the biggest this year, really. It's a huge fight, but he's a scary dude, Gervonta Davis. Like, but yeah, not on this weekend. Obviously, next weekend we'll have a lot to get into because Smith and Eubank. Yeah, I've seen the promo stuff.
Yeah, looks good, doesn't it? I'm excited for it. Like, we'll obviously speak more about next week, but I am mega excited.
He looks in good shape, Liam.
I did see a thing about Usyk putting a picture up saying the middleweight, super middleweight waiting
Where
for
are you, belly?
Something.
He said to Fury. I don't like. He stood at the side of a pool in his bills, looking like a geography teacher. Yeah. How is he the hardest man in the world?
It's mad, isn't it?
I'm telling you, just mark it down for when he beats him.
That's the big fight for me.
Yeah, I mean, if that happens, it's a crazy good fight. But I think Joshua, there's whispers that he's gone over to the US to train with Errol Spencer's trainer. I don't know. There's been no real announcement, but I think he's going to fight an Australian, Dillian White, and then a big fight. But never know with Joshua, do you?
No, I'm bored of it a bit.
I am. Bored
of the heavyweight division.
It's got like that, hasn't it? Usyk's the only hope, lad. Doesn't he use it to clean them all out and then launch his belt and just like, go ahead, just come fight over them. I'm the best.
Yeah. Should we go on to footy?
Yeah, shall we?
I think, the League Cup action.
We've had FA Cup.
FA Cup and League Cup. We'll start with FA Cup then, because Liverpool, you know what? Let's just probably fucking argue over this as well. This whole VAR offside thing, I personally, played football since I was fucking I can remember. I genuinely now don't understand the offside rule.
I don't. I think I tweeted that exact thing.
If we go on Salah's goal is offside. I still don't get now. I had this argument with my dad. So-and-so, who's the new signing? Like Gakpo. Is that how you say it? Gakpo. Gakpo plays the ball. Salah's in an offside position.
Yeah,
the ball's clearly
goes
going to Salah.
Yeah.
He tries to head it. Doesn't get a clear head on it. They're forced to Salah. Now, yeah, I get the defenders hit it last, but the intention to still pass the ball I thought that was offside.
So they're saying that basically Totti should have had balls of steel.
Yeah, to just let it go.
That's going to go to Salah, but I'm going to trust the line up.
So the point is, right, it's an offside. If a player is in the direct sight of the ball and the keeper, he can be classed as offside because he's obstructed the keeper's view, hasn't he?
I don't know.
So
I don't know the rule.
So if there's a player's in offside position and someone has a shot, it goes in. But the keeper could argue that there was a player in offside position in his eyesight.
Yeah,
he's offside.
Yeah,
So Salah is having an impact in play because that defender feels like he needs to edit it because he knows Salah's behind him.
Because if Salah weren't there, he would have left it.
Exactly. So he's impacting play just like he would in an eye line of the keeper. I think
you're saying he's made it because Totti's made an active play on the ball. He had the opportunity to clear it, which is ridiculous.
Bullshit.
But then, I'm with you. If you said to me right now, Jord, here's a grand to take this ground on, I'm going to get the offside definition up off whatever website, get it right, and you can have the grand. I would not win a grand.
No, I wouldn't. So I thought Salah's was offside. And then the Wolves goal. First of all, I don't agree with some games in the FA Cup have got VAR and some haven't. Yeah. That is fucking bullshit. That if it's competition, it's got to be the same rules across the whole competition.
Like we spoke about tennis, innit? Integrity's gone, innit? Because some people have gone through by VAR, some haven't, and
it's a joke. So that's bullshit. And then in this particular kind of line, the cameras didn't work at a certain angle or something.
Yeah. So, but it caught Darwin Núñez.
But the linesman reckoned he fucking nailed it, but he hadn't fucking nailed it because he was onside.
I've looked at that picture, and a few people I wrote saying I don't understand it, and some people were like, oh, it's pretty easy if you look at this, and then they explained it, and I was like, that's not easy.
No.
And I've seen 40 photos, and I'm still yet to see one where anyone for Wolves is offside.
No. It's a joke.
And I had Totti for a yellow when he took his top off.
Oh, yeah. Gutted there.
But,
well,
I don't know. I was still in the competition.
I looked at that Liverpool team. Probably our strongest 11. Yeah. Arguably, you throw Diaz in and Van Dijk.
Crabs.
That's our strongest 11. I done Liverpool to win -2.
Wow.
That was fucking obviously short-lived. Wow. Do you know the one thing? Liverpool deserved to go out 100%. Anyone says
even
they didn't.
Klopp said it. Well, he didn't say it, but he was like, I don't really know how it is still, isn't he?
The only thing, and it looks like I'm being bitten again. Do you know all I kept on thinking? They are not going down.
Who, Wolves?
Wolves. Do you see who they brought off the bench and everything? Yeah. Mate, they're not going down. Then.
I think they are experiencing a bit of a new manager bounce though.
They've got good players, lads.
No, they have got good players. I really rate Ruben Neves. I really rate him. I wanted Liverpool to sign him for ages. That Núñez, who I dramatically said would be a good sign for Liverpool, now we're after him. So obviously someone's been listening to me. He's a good player. He come on and ran the game.
Aito something as well. He had a mad name. I think the left back might have been or something.
Aït-Nouri.
Yeah,
he's a good player. Yeah, they got some good players, but
they will not go down then.
No, I think I do. Yeah, I think they'll be safe. I think Southampton and Everton are obviously in big danger, but
well, so that happened, and then you had League Cup action. Oh, sorry, you had Rashford. By the way, see Rashford's fucking flying, isn't he?
Yeah. He's always had that ability, but I mean, I seen someone comparing him to Mbappe the other day and stuff like that.
I mean, that's a bit far.
I've had a strong opinion on Mbappe, but yeah, he's better than Rashford.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I do really rate Rashford though.
I think he's good, but I think he's a hot and cold player. Like he'd be very quickly in a 10-game drought like next season.
I don't know. I think it's the manager. I think you get some players who like an arm around the shoulder. Some players like
he's a good gaffer. Him.
I think under Ten Hag, I think he'll be dangerous. Rashford.
They're looking all right, Man United. I mean, I think
they obviously put Everton out in the FA Cup, didn't they? And then they've put whoever out, was it in the League Cup? Oh no, they played City, didn't they?
Who?
I'm fucking lost track. They
You
played.
have absolutely lost.
They played. Who did Everton play last week? Was it, you know? I'm fucking losing the plot. It's because there's FA Cup and League Cup, and then we've got
so
Prem.
United knocked Everton out of the FA Cup 3-1. Which Everton actually played all right in that game.
They did. They played really well.
But I mean, you know, just sticking with Everton, that game Saturday against Southampton is an absolute. I know we've got the Manchester derby.
You got the Manchester derby, the North London derby, and the relegation derby.
Everton Southampton's an absolute 12-pointer.
Especially when you see Southampton beat City 2-0.
I think that's the worst thing that could have happened to him.
To Everton or
to Southampton?
Why?
Because it's just like you get a freak result like that, and now you go into that Everton game with like they would have been going into that Everton game like cup final, and now it's like, oh, we should win. We beat Man City.
They're still going into a cup final. I know what you mean. They're going into it with a different mindset, but the mindset they were going into this game with Everton is, we are shit. Everton are shit. Let's just try not to be as shit as them. Yeah. Whereas now they're going into it thinking, fucking hell, boys, when we pull it together, we can actually pull it together.
Yeah. The only saving grace for Everton is I think they will win on the weekend. And
are they home or away, Everton?
They're at home. And I think, have you seen Bournemouth's fixtures? They are getting pulled right back in. So they're away to Brentford, at home to Nottingham Forest, which, you know, tough games. Away to Brighton, who, you know, have got a decent chance of beating us this weekend. At home to Newcastle, away to Wolves, at home to Man City. They're not getting a point until the end of Feb.
Maybe, yeah. But I think it's 4-1, Southampton, Bournemouth and Everton to go down.
I think they're the favourites now. Like, I think
them three are the favourites. The team favourites to go down.
I think although that freak result happened last night, I think Southampton are as good as down. I don't see them having.
I saw that Wolves squad. No way, Wolves going down.
Wolves have got West Ham as well. That's a big game.
Yeah, but West Ham won't go down either.
I don't know. I mean,
Declan Rice and Antonio there.
I think Southampton, Everton and Bournemouth are the favourites as things stand.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple of teams there who could easily get dragged in. Obviously, Wolves are not out of it, but then you got West Ham who could get dragged in. Nottingham Forest who are only a little bit of a bad runaway. Leeds haven't got a win in 4 games. Leicester have lost the last 3. So there's teams that could get dragged in. You know what I mean?
There are, but again, I'm sticking with that.
Mate,
that will be my 3 to the end of the season.
Everton are 2 points off Leicester, who were in 13th.
I know.
Scary, isn't it?
I know.
It's only, the problem is it's only Wolves that I can see really putting. Wolves and maybe Nottingham Forest putting a couple of games of wins together. Like,
listen, Everton need to beat Southampton. I seen Mashiri brought back to the fans as well.
Yeah, I didn't read it, but apparently it wasn't great, was it?
No, he didn't really address anything what people have been saying.
It's a mad setup, Everton.
Basically, just said, look, there's been a lot of changes. We need some stability with the board and stuff. My mate Simon Jordan as well, who you hate, he come up with a good point as well. I listened to an Everton phone in and they're all saying sack the board and all that. And Simon Jordan had a good point and was just like, you can't just, you need to have people ready to come in.
Yeah,
you can't just fucking tomorrow morning they go, right, you're all sacked.
Yeah.
What happens to the day-to-day running of the football club?
Yeah, they'll never sack them, but I think what Everton fans want to see is a proactive search for a new board. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem to be it just seems to be like, look at what's going on here. Look at our new ground.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's Denise Baxendale, is it?
Yeah.
I was at an event with her the other week. She's done some amazing things for that Everton in the community, you know. By all accounts, like, such an incredible woman. I don't know what a CV looks like with regards to the operating of a football club.
I don't know enough about her role as a...
She's done some amazing things for the charity side of things from what I know of. What her attributes are like when it comes to the successful running of a Premier League football club, I don't know. But she's done some amazing things for the club in general. I just don't know whether she's best suited of probably a role now.
I think the things that I would struggle with as an Everton fan, and I like to try to be as middle down the line as I can, is that I believe from what I've read this week on the likes of the Athletic and stuff, when Bill Kenwright signed over to Mashiri, or was it Usmanov or whatever it was, apparently a clause in him selling it was that he had to then be employed as whatever he's employed as. You know what I mean? Like, there's never been a clean break.
I kind of feel like he needs to just go, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I think that's what Everton fans are saying. Like,
go back to Corrie.
Yeah, just like leave us alone. But I mean, I seen.
Do you know what clip I love about Ken?
By the way, do you know Everton haven't won a football game in 81 days or something like that?
Really?
81 days. the only... let me get the stats up. They're the only team in the top 6 divisions that have...
It's because of the World Cup, obviously, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's crazy. Yeah, it's obviously inflated, but still.
That's mad. I love that clip on and it sounds like I'm just dogging the Blues this week, but I love that clip where Ken Wright sitting next to Martinez. He goes, "Do you know what he said?
Okay,
Champions League, I'll get you there."
Speaking of Martinez,
fuck it now.
We've had a lot of chat today about getting taken out of prominent roles. He's just led Belgium to the most disappointing World Cup of ever. Portugal, like, come on in, come be our head coach.
It's mad, isn't it?
How?
Mad.
Why would you look at him and go, that's the... Belgium employed him to lead their golden generation and he failed. So what we're going to do...
It's an aging generation. It's coming to the end of that golden generation, though, to be fair.
What did they do? What did they win? Did they win anything?
I don't think they won. I think they got to a final, didn't they, or a semis or something. A few years. I think, mate, when I think Belgium, I think of just England. I think, you know, they got some boss players back in the day, but they don't fucking do nothing. Really, do they?
No.
And, yeah, bit mad. So that was it. It was Martinez going to Portugal and Stevie G going to Poland.
Is he?
Have you not seen that one?
Stevie?
Apparently he's had talks to be the national the Poland national team coach.
Lad, he must hate his gaff, Stevie, you know.
Yeah.
He just does anything to get his back.
Scotland wasn't quite far enough. Let's go to Poland.
Matty Cash put in a good word, didn't he?
Mad that though, isn't
Mad
it?
that Matty Cash.
I don't think he'll... I think that's just probably rumours, but...
I seen a good theory today. They were like, that Liverpool should try and give him one of their, like... What are them roles we have these days? Director of football and all that stuff, don't we? Like, I think, rather than a manager, I think that might be somewhere where Stevie suits more. He was
just turn up and look pretty.
There was a good... Did you see him? I don't know why this mad headline's just come into me that I'm going to speak about in a minute, but did you see that Seb Haller had testicular cancer and like recovered and he made his competitive, like, well, I think they had a friendly, so he had testicular cancer like 9 months ago, recovered and played the game the other day. Bellingham tweeted out saying like, what a man, but it's mad when you see it. Someone put a picture.
He's not lost a leg, has he, to be fair?
No, but
might have lost the ball.
Even with 2 you wouldn't get a fucking call up, lad. So, but yeah, so 9 months, I think they put a picture up of him when he was in his treatment to now.
Nah, it's fair play. Games. Anyone recovering from cancer, getting back to an elite level of sport deserves mad respect.
Seb Haller, so fair play to him.
Yeah, fair play. What was I going to say then?
Are we done on footy or have we got more?
No, I wanted to know your thoughts on that Weghorst going from Burnley to United.
They brought in a target, man. Love it.
Mad that, isn't it? Apparently he does 45 presses a game.
Presses as in runs?
Yeah, like as in presses the defenders, yeah.
He fucking didn't when I seen him at Burnley, lad. He was crap.
So, yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean...
You got João Felix as well going to Chelsea.
Yeah.
11 million quid for like 5 months.
That's a lose-lose deal, in my opinion, because you're going to pay a lot of money and he's either going to do one or two things. He's going to flop and you spent a lot of money, or he's going to do all right and then they're going to want absolutely loads from him.
Yeah.
So you're either going to be inclined to pay or you're going to give away some money just had a decent half a season. And I half feel sorry for Graham Potter, but I also feel like he's on borrowed time now. As early as that is.
I think that's Chelsea. Down to the owners as well. I think the owners have been massively erratic in the signings as well.
I don't think them players... I actually think Graham Potter might be a decent manager, but...
Oh, I think he is a decent manager.
I think the way he had everyone at Brighton buying in, and I think you're seeing, not taking anything away from Brighton's new manager, but I think he put a lot of the foundations in of what Brighton are now. But all them players bought in. I think the likes of the players at Chelsea will be looking at him thinking, who are you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't just, like, there's no respect there, I don't think.
Talking about players not having respect, did you see the interview about Eto'o and Benitez?
No.
So I think Schneider's come out. Wesley Schneider, remember him? Or someone's come out and said that when they were playing for Inter Milan, Jose Mourinho had Eto'o playing on the left.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a big thing at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah. And listen, they won the Champions League and they've done the double. Or they've done the treble, I think. Benitez comes in and says to Eto'o, I want you playing on the left. And he says, nah, I only played like that for Mourinho. I'm not playing like that for you. That's fucking mad disrespect.
Yeah.
Fucking Benitez going, look, I'm only doing it for Mourinho. I'm not doing it for you.
I think that... I know Benitez, when he was at us, he went toe-to-toe with Mourinho for a while, but I think at a certain point in his career, Mourinho had that Alex Ferguson things where players just wanted to play. Didn't matter where they were, they just wanted to be in the team.
Mourinho, back in the day, as much as I hated him because he was Chelsea, was the fucking bollocks, mate. He was the man.
That Dele Alli clip always gets me. He absolutely called it to perfection.
Yeah.
See, they want rid of him, don't they, Besiktas?
I know. Back to Everton, lad.
And Everton don't want him.
Really?
Yeah, they said no, we don't want him.
Do you know what as well?
Into Miami, he's
Call
gone.
me fucking Jose Mourinho. Remember I told you?
I am Jose Mourinho.
Call...
Have you seen that reel?
No.
It's like a sign over it. So like people have put like when
Jose Mourinho from fucking the Middle East.
No, it'll say like when she takes her boyfriend's name out of her bio and then you like react to the story.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
I am Jose Mourinho.
No, to kind of do the kind of, I called it. I told you when I done that talk for the England football team. Dele Alli was the one I thought, you disrespectful little bastard.
Yeah, well, enough people
Soon as Southgate said, right lads, thanks for all your time, it's your own time, feel free to sit and chat and all that, and Dele Alli went, nice one. He literally clapped, spun and ran back to the room away from us as like quickly as possible.
Little gamer though, innit?
Well, that's what I mean. He ran back to just playing his computer, and then the likes of Trippier was there. Like all of them were there for fucking Kane, Hendo. All of them stayed for like, oh lads, been another 20, only like another 20 minutes, half an hour.
Yeah,
mate, Ali was gone.
It says everything, lad. You know, at that level, everyone's good. It's the small things that you do that separate you. That's why
sour taste in my mouth anyway.
That's why, as much as I, say about him not winning any trophies, that's why you have to respect Kane, because like what he's done to his game to go from a striker with decent technique that he was when he was getting loaned out to everyone by Spurs to like all the small margins he's done to turn himself into an unbelievable goal scorer.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see the rumour this week that he might go to Newcastle?
Yeah.
I can see that.
I can see that as well.
And
you know what?
Me, Newcastle.
Like I said, I probably sounded like I was bashing Kane. Bashing the Queen. Definitely.
You mean Rhapsody's alright, like?
Definitely bashed the Queen. I might have sounded like I was bashing Kane last week, and I'm not. Like you, I think he's an amazing footballer, but he hasn't proven so far in his career that he's a winner.
No.
If he goes to Newcastle, I think they've got more chance of winning stuff than Spurs.
100%. I'm scared of Newcastle. I don't know what's going on.
I'm more scared of United.
No, I'm not, because that bridge will come burning down. There's too many toxic variables, and there will be toxic variables at Newcastle in like 5 or 6 years. But this little boom and the money and what their fan base can do, like I consider what Newcastle can create similar to what we see at Anfield.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
they can definitely.
I think they will definitely be good.
That, yeah, they're worrying me.
Did you see, going away from the Prem, PK?
Yeah, little hidden league.
So he started the little 7-a-side league. I'm guessing just for his mates or something. I don't know. Or he's joined the league or something.
No, it's ex La Liga players or
Is
something
it?
like that. Yeah.
But he's got a current La Liga player
Playing with a mask
fully masked up, gloves, everything.
He must have hand tattoos, doesn't he?
Wonder who it is.
Yeah.
Who would you have out of La? It's got to be a Barca player, do you reckon?
Be some sick players, no. But someone who plays for like Valencia, who's just like, it's been like an absolute porn star, or is like dead skillful, but just hasn't got the like drive, and he just goes into 7-a-side and just tears it up.
But his agent said he can't play. His manager said he can't play. They've all said they can't play, and he just went, fuck it, I'm playing.
I love it.
Mad.
I'm about. Did we speak about? I think we did, didn't we? That Lucas Perez. Did you see him?
No.
He went to I can't remember who he was at. Let me have a look. Anyway, he's gone back to Deportivo La Coruña.
Yeah.
And paid like £500,000 out of his own money.
Oh, he scored as well, didn't he?
Yeah. So he used to play for Arsenal. He was playing for Cadiz, and he went back to Deportivo because he's like, I can't see them. I don't want to see them down in these leagues. It's killing me. They're my own town club. Paid €493,000 in order to be released, and scored 2 on his debut 8 days later.
That's a belter, that lad, isn't it?
That's BD, that.
That is a belter.
Well, he's back at Deportivo, just absolutely tearing it up at 34 years old. He'll go down as a hero if he gets them anywhere near the La Liga again. I watched the thingy last night, a little bit of the Spanish Super Cup in Saudi Arabia. Did you see that? Weird setup, lad.
Is that where they've got it?
Yeah.
Who won?
So it was Real Madrid versus Valencia, 1-1. It finished. I didn't see the pens. I don't know who won on pens, but it was in Saudi, just a sold stadium with like no one in there. It's like,
we're keeping it on that, mate. Obviously, we take the piss every week at the golf. Not so much kind of headlines from the
Netflix?
golf, but you've got the Netflix documentary, which I thought's dead interesting. I just think it'd be interesting just for the fucking bitching that goes on behind the scenes.
Clip from Polter going, bloody hell, you picked some year to follow the PGA Tour. So
oh,
it's
really?
Be sick. So we got that one, we got the tennis one as well. Oh, I'm loving it. I love them documentaries.
But the thing which I thought was interesting is Liv, obviously in Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, they've got their hands onto the World Cup. They've got it on Ronaldo. They've got it in the golf. They've also now
The WWE.
got the WWE.
Lad, have you looked into that?
Vince McMahon has just fucked his family up.
Vince
Off
McMahon got ousted because of historical
sexual abuse and stuff like that.
weirdo charges.
Yeah.
Kids took charge.
Yeah.
He then
Stephanie McMahon.
He then like sold it on so that he could then get a job as a non-executive board director or something.
And he's just swooped back in and was like,
Yes.
boom, Saudis.
There's me retirement fund, Saudi personal investment fund, come on over. Kick me kids out.
He's literally just fucked his family off.
Do you know how much that'll be worth?
Oh, lad. So much
As
money.
much as we joke about it, I was a massive WWF, WWE fan as a kid.
Oh, I was massive, lad.
And-
Who was your favourite?
Stone Cold, man.
I was either Stone Cold or The Rock, mate, maybe. Probably still more Stone Cold, to be honest. Austin 316 said I just kicked your ass.
Yeah, me and our kids used to just do it in the video.
Oh, lad, he was so good.
don't
I don't know whether you're chatting shit, though, because you thought the Dudley brothers were both
Well,
white.
I was a bit. I actually did. That was a bad little moment. But we loved
3D,
Stone Cold.
3D.
RJ, we loved Jeff Hardy. So
Yeah.
RJ, we used to have like bunk beds. Jeff Hardy, I used to obviously always jump off. Like he used to do flips and all that, didn't he?
Yeah.
His
Dan
brother-
Hardy, you mean?
No, Dan Hardy's an MMA fighter. He was Jeff and Matt.
Okay.
The two brothers. And I used to jump off ladders all the time. So our kid used to get to the top. Used to get to the top of like the bunk beds and just jump off onto me.
Yeah.
And then one time, I haven't ever told you when I broke my elbow doing it. I like broke my elbow. We were where we lived. There was like a little piece of grass, and I've climbed the fence, and my brother's lying there. I'm like, stay there. So I've jumped off to like elbow, and like the rest of the time, he just went moved,
Oh, lad.
smashed my elbow, and broke it. I was in like at him.
See, I had little sisters. I could, like, I'd done it with it, and they were like, "Oh, Andrew's hurt me."
We had
Couldn't really do it. Never had a brother.
He released the he tweeted you, I think, saying he knocked me out once. That was bad.
Yeah. They actually knock your spark
Clean
out.
lad.
Wow.
We were we were
Like Prince Harry and
so
William here, lad.
we would box every day, just me versus him. Head guards, they got binned off, and it was just we had gloves, but then we used to go right hand, left hand. So one would be bare knuckle, one would be glove, and we just lay into each other. And anyway, I'm obviously bigger than him, but we're not that far in age. So
Don't know whether you want to be telling this story, to be honest, lad.
no, it's funny. You gotta embrace it, aren't you? So we've been messing around, and I'm wading into him like I'm giving him a beating, and I don't know what happened, but like he was crouched down like this, and I remember it. I threw a punch, and he threw it at the exact same time, but he was crouched down like this, so it was coming up, and he just bang, and it's
Clean out.
lad. I was asleep.
Did he shit himself?
Snoring, yeah.
Bet he did.
When I remember, like, obviously when like I come back around, my ma was there, and he was going, "I didn't mean it." But yeah, clean out, man.
To be fair, he said you were having him off. He said he was 50 to 1 in running.
Lad, I was pinging
Just
him.
a shot out of nowhere.
But
Ended it all.
I don't know whether I got overconfident or something, but he just threw with all his might. I was sleeping.
One from the heavens.
Yeah, but yeah, I can't beat the old WWE back in the day. Like
Yeah. X-Pac and Road
Road Dog.
Road Dog.
What was that song? You better call somebody. That's what he used to do.
Did he?
I remember this. Oh, lad, I need to find that tune.
Oh, China, remember she was a fella in the end, wasn't she, or something?
Was she?
Yeah. So she like grew a dick or something.
Someone just like went off.
She's got some sort of trans.
We're gonna get
kind
pure abuse in the comments here, but when Stone Cold used to like stun her, everything.
Yeah.
He used to do women and everything. Didn't
Some
he?
of the rocks kind of flips after he got stunned, were a bit dramatic, like, I'll be honest. Okay, now. You think he was actually
Have you seen-
paralysed?
They always bring that clip back where he like falls and then he like stands up and falls down.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And the captions always, so tell me WWE isn't real then. But I'd love it. But yeah.
Trip down memory lane. I
Breathing
mean,
in.
WWE is sport, isn't it? Wrestling sport.
Yeah, of
Get away
course
with
it is.
talking about
But
that.
we've got some questions, you know.
Oh, I did see that actually, yeah. On the
Let
old
me give
Patreon.
you-
If you do want to get involved with the Patreon suggestions, then again, it's £1 a week. We'd appreciate your support. And you can get involved, getting early access to all our shows. You get invited out onto the nights out that we do, the quizzes, and you get to give us shit in the comments.
We've covered Joe J's question was how disgusting is it how the UFC as an organisation and Dana White as its president just moved on swiftly. Mental how the slap league thing is about to start. So Joe, hopefully we covered everything we did there. John McLeish had an interesting one. What do you think of the Japanese influence at Celtic on Scottish football, with more clubs looking into the Asian market for talent? I expect you won't have a clue about this as you don't follow Scottish football. But look at like, how Japan. I seen they've got Maeda, haven't they? Celtic have, but they have got a lot of Asian players. But look at like how Japan performed in the World Cup. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's
I always
definitely
think
a bigger
I'm
influence.
always a bit what's the word? A bit suspicious of are they bringing them for the talent or for the marketing side of things?
Oh,
I
what in
mean,
Scotland?
Celtic and Rangers are two of the biggest clubs, you know, arguably in the world. Anyway, but I mean, are they? You know, you throw an Asian player in there.
I think back in the day you had a point, but they're actually performing to a high level, aren't they?
Well, that's what I mean. It might be purely on talent now. I don't know.
There's all obviously there's like
Some crazy untapped market in Japan or
Yeah.
something.
Well, I remember playing. So this must have been 2014, 2015. Played against a select team from Japan, and mate, the standard is unreal.
Really,
They
yeah.
were class. They're so strong.
So how many
innit?
players have Celtic got at the minute?
I don't know. Let's have a.
I mean,
I don't want to misquote.
so I've got it here. Let's see, Celtic. So their team.
They've got.
Yeah, the squad. It looks like they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Japanese players. They've got.
Mm,
That's a bit mad, isn't it?
yeah.
What a
Well,
great
they've all
little
come from
point.
that J League, haven't they? And obviously, I think you've got Iniesta over there, haven't you? He's playing over there.
Let's try and read the names out. Tomoki, Yuki, Ryo, Yusuke, Kaigo, and Design.
Well in, lad.
Yeah, that could not be right, lad.
Yeah. But to go back to your point, I would say, like, I think you've definitely got a point in terms of, you know, a lot comes across as, is this a marketing ploy? But I would suggest that, you know, I know a lot of the players starting for Celtic and also with Japan and other nations performing well at the World Cup. I think that part of the world is having a boom in sport in general because they've got a huge influence in MMA as well. I think that part of the world is just sort of coming through as a bit of a powerhouse.
One of the two biggest clubs in Scotland,
Yeah.
with an Australian manager, 6 Japanese players in the squad, only 8 Scottish players in the squad.
Mm-hmm. Time moves on though, man. You got to look further afield, lad.
It's a bit mad, that.
Right, there was a Cheltenham Festival course here. Shall we won't... In a few weeks, we might be able to dive a little bit more into this question. But we can do a little bit now. Cheltenham Festival, Joey Davis says, only 2 months away now. Well-handicapped Irish horses, not for the big trainers like Mullins and Elliott, seem to go under the radar in big field handicaps. Therefore, want to keep an eye on, especially as the odds are big. Nothing better than watching one youth back climb the hill after the last hurdle or fence. It has to be the best races meeting of the year for me. I would probably agree. Nah, I don't know, Aintree. Love Aintree, but that might be biased.
I do love Cheltenham, though.
So, what you're asking there, we might obviously be able to give you a little bit more inside info on horses and whatnot in a few weeks. But with this in mind, if you owned a racehorse, what would you call it?
Yankee. Or Condor. Thought about this before.
Why Condor? Is that something else?
It's where I was based, yeah, Condor. I'd call it Yankee.
Why?
I was in Yankee Company.
In the military?
Yeah, I'd call it something to do with the Marines. So I'd either call it, there's 3 names, I'd call it the Fighting 45th.
Nice.
Condor.
That's why I was confused. I'm sure you told me.
So 4-5 Commando.
Yeah.
4-5 Commando was based in Condor, and I was in Yankee Company. So I'd either call it the Fighting 45th. I think that's a good name.
That's a good name.
The Fighting 45th. Let's call it that.
I wanted to call my horse Josh the Boss, and my half robbed it.
That's a good name. Is he called it? Has he got a horse called that now?
Josh the Boss, yeah, it's around once and run alright actually. But
Yeah, I will own a racehorse one day. That's my
I
goal.
like your names though. The other one is, are you going to Cheltenham this year? No, I'm not. But
I want to be. I've not booked anything yet, but I'm going to try to, yeah.
it's great, yeah, but the prices are heavy. And finally, will you be doing any smaller vids previews before each race day with the tips for the day? Understand that everyone loves the horses, but could make a good week of content for you guys and earn us a few quid. Don't see
Yeah,
why not.
I'm off for doing that, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Joey, lad. Yeah, I think we definitely will. And then we've got a couple UFC predictions for 2023. Let's see if you've got any. Come on. Give us
Mine are just more on, like, things I'd like
Paddy.
to see happen.
Go ahead, let's see.
I'd like to see Conor McGregor come back.
Yeah, of course.
So that's what I mean. Mine are, like, fanboy ones.
Yeah, get in.
I'd like to see Darren Till come back and have a go.
I hope he does, but it's such a hard situation. Man.
I'd like to see Paddy come back and dominate someone and put the kind of because
everyone thinks I'm a hype train to bed.
Everyone thinks he's a hype train, and I think because of his last performance, which he'll probably say himself, wasn't his best, no one's given him the credit. So to the point where, listen, everyone's got their opinion, and no doubt most of them will be better than mine in the sense of they know more about MMA, but I've not really read anyone saying he can get to the top. People are like, he's not even getting top 10.
Yeah.
So I'd like him to kind of come on, put a performance on where people then start going, actually, you know what, this kid has went away, he's learned a few things, and actually, he's the real deal. Yeah. I'd like that to happen with Paddy.
Well, you'd like him to become a genuine contender?
Well, just to put on a performance or two in 2023 where people at least, I'm not saying put him in the top 10, but I mean, at least just put a bit of respect on his name to go, actually, this kid might go far, because it just seems after that last fight, everyone's like, oh, he's a big mouth, but he ain't getting nowhere near the top 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I mean, for that, though, he needs an eligible dance partner, doesn't he? He needs someone...
But even if he doesn't have that kind of warranted dance partner, he just looks impressive. And I know that could be easy done if you're not fighting anyone credible, but
yeah,
I don't know, just, put on a performance.
I would like Paddy to get away from the main man. I'm not going to be in England no more. I'm too big for that. I'm going to be in pay-per-view in the US. I would almost like him to go. I would almost like him to, not saying he can't fight in the US on Vegas and Madison Square Gardens and bucket list stuff, but I'd almost like him to embrace, and make the O2 or whatever.
Kind of firm up his foundations a bit more.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, get people there, and then, because I think that's where he's going to be at his biggest advantage.
I'll be honest. The atmosphere we seen him in UFC London was better than the atmosphere in Vegas.
Yeah.
It was.
And I just think, naturally the way we all would, I do think Paddy may have got carried away a little bit going into the last fight. Because you got to remember, this is a kid who, I say a kid, I don't want to disrespect him, this is a man who's 27, 28, and everyone's telling him, and he, people living off him now and all that stuff. It's hard not to get carried away, innit? I'd almost like him to just have a little bit of a reality check. Is bad, because that would suggest that he's a big-headed person, but I don't think he is. But I would almost like him to go, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna, like, I'm not, he's not probably not gonna make the March card because he's got weddings and stuff, but I'd almost like him to embrace this come up of the UK,
enjoy the journey,
and instead of trying to become the cash cow, the McGregor, this and that, I'd almost like him to just pave Paddy's way. Do you know what I mean? Just go, this is, I'm doing it here. I know everyone else goes to Vegas, but I'm doing it here. Do you know what I mean? I think that would work in his favour. Yeah,
I think that kind of trajectory he was on, where all of a sudden you've got Barstools, which is one of the biggest social media kind of brands, if you like, kind of paying you. You've got Joe Rogan talking about, you've got this Logan Paul talking about you.
Yeah.
You've got the beef going on with Ariel Helwani. You've got this Tapora beef. There's so many factors around his life, loads of stuff that we don't even know about. And you're expecting him to kind of put on a solid performance against Jared Gordon. It's like
up and down, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I firmly believe he lost that fight, but at the time, although I didn't say it publicly, I think a defeat would have been the best thing, because it is that reality check. It's like, and then I think you would have seen Paddy go away, like, put mad graft in. I'm sure he still will, but then come back and be a different beast. Do you know what I mean?
I'd also really like, as well, Leon Edwards to at least defend his belt, because I don't want him to be like he won it by fluke, and then that's him gone.
Yeah,
I want him to kind of at least cement him, a few title defences.
That's why I almost hope that Usman is out, because I think Usman has a good chance of reclaiming his belt, although Edwards could have damaged him beyond belief now in terms of how he approaches fights. But I'd like to see him fight Masvidal, because I think he'd win that fight, and I'd like to see him.
Did you fought Masvidal before, has he not?
No, they just outside the case. They had a diff up, didn't he? But it'd be good to see him hold the belt up and defend it once. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%.
I think Tapora will be the featherweight champion. I put that up last week. He's only 2-1 now. Crazy, but I think he'll be the featherweight champion come the end of the year, because I think Volkanovski's going up to lightweight. I think he might stay at lightweight regardless of the defence, because I don't really see much left for him, and then I think there's a bit of a round robin at featherweight, and I think Tapora will come out on top of that. I need to see John Jones back, but we spoke about that. You never know with him, though. Could just talk about people knocking the misses out. He's done it a million times, but like to see him back at heavyweight.
So John Jones bangs his misses out. Joe'd like to see him back.
No,
Fucking Dana White bangs his missus out. Fucking ban him from the world.
I haven't got... No,
Jordan Aid, ladies and gents.
I said ban him from the UFC for that, but John Jones has paid his things. He fucking fucked his life up a million times. As a person, I couldn't be
You
less...
have just fucked up your whole entire initial argument.
Why?
Saying John Jones...
He's paid his...
What's he paid his dues for?
Lad, John Jones could have been the greatest...
So because he's not what he could have been, that's him paying his dues?
Yeah. Lad, the amount of stuff he fucked up for himself and got taken away
Dana
from
White's
himself.
fucked up being a great dad to his kids, arguably.
Mate, John Jones fucked that up a long time ago.
Well, there you go.
But John Jones fucked up crazy opportunities rightly as well. As a person, I couldn't dislike him more. But as a heavyweight, I'd like to see him fight. Whether that's to see him get knocked out or to see him win, I don't know. But I don't think we're going to see it because I think Ngannou's going to leave the UFC. I think he's going to go to the PFL. And what other predictions do I want to see? You know, it's tough. It's been a bad start for the UFC this year.
Yeah.
My God. But yeah, I'd like to see them come to the UK more. But I think it'll only be twice again. I just think they'll never take the risk on doing the
big outdoor
event. You know what I mean? So I just think it'll be the O2 Arena. But yeah, I think as much as people don't, I would love to see Tapora Paddy, but
that would be sick.
I mean, that would be the fight.
Not for a couple of years though.
No, that's not happening. But yeah, just hope it's a good year. I mean, it's not started with much hope, to be fair.
Well, we've answered a few of your questions. We've had a couple of barneys over our various views on things. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you have a belt of Friday and a good weekend. The betting show will be out tomorrow, Saturday, with all my footy tips. Is there much on for you to have a little?
Yeah, we haven't touched on it really because it's a bit of a quieter event. There's a UFC event, but I don't think there'll be a betting show for it. There'll definitely be one next week because it's UFC, first pay-per-view of the event, and it's Smith Eubank.
Yeah, I'll have my little footy bet out tomorrow. Best of luck for that. Again, have a boss weekend. Thanks if you support us on Patreon. If you don't, please have a little think about it. It's £1 a week, and we'll see you all soon.
Cheers.